Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kavana, and welcome to the Introverts Social Hour. Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? Same. Whether you're juggling work, side projects, or just trying to keep life organized, Passion Planner is the perfect tool to help you prioritize what matters, make time for yourself, and live with intention. I've been using Passion Planner since my freshman year of college, and to this day, it still helps me map out my goals while keeping life a little less chaotic. It's more than just a planner, it's a space to reflect, refocus, and take control of your time. Whether you're a bullet journal pro or just starting your planner journey, there's truly a passion planner for everyone. I especially love the weekly medium size Sunday start, but if you're a Monday start lover, I am not judging you and I love that for you. You have so many options. Go ahead and get 10% off at passionplanner.com using my code KAVANA27. Once again, that's my code KAVANA27 to get 10% off at passionplanner.com. Join the Pash fam today and start planning with a purpose. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today, we are doing a little fun little game. I'm bringing those in this season a lot. And we're doing Would You Rather Bookish edition. And you already know I had to bring one of my bookish friends here, Summer. I'm bringing Summer back. Hey, Summer.
Hello, I love being back for these.
Yeah, this one's so fun too. And so in regards to bookish, would you rather bookish edition? Just to let you know, give you filler in, and then so the listeners know as well. I brought in just like general book preferences as us as readers, and then I also really thought it'd be fun to like just like do tropes. Like, what if we were like characters? Like, what would our choices be? Especially because I always think about, like, when I'm reading a book and someone does something stupid, I'm like, "Why would you do that?" Like, so, um, this would be a good time to be like, "Okay, if we were characters, what does that look like for us?" Um, and then, listeners, feel free to play along and answer those questions and respond, et cetera, in the comments, and I'm excited to go. Any questions before we start, Summer?
No, I'm going in blind, and I really
You are.
like that. So excuse me if I need some time to think things over, but I'm really excited nonetheless.
Yes, yes. No, yeah, to let y'all know, I purposely did that. So there wasn't any pre-thought. I tried to be more like conversational based. So this will be good because I also have not really been able to think too heavily about them. Okay, let's go. We're gonna start with okay, actually I'll ask you first, Summer. I'm gonna give you a few different genres as far
Okay.
as tropes, and you choose which one you want to do first. Sci-fi dystopia, mystery thriller, fantasy adventure, or romance. Where do you want to start?
Wait, were those
Genres.
all one separate genres, or were you saying like fantasy and sci-fi and like romance and thriller, or like
No, no, no. So, the romance, and then there's fantasy adventure, and then there's mystery thriller, and then there's sci-fi dystopian.
I see. Let's do
Mhm.
it in that order, romance.
Okay, bet. Let's go then. Okay, so first question. Would you rather be in a love triangle where both people are equally amazing or have an enemies to lovers romance, but you have to truly hate them first?
Like me or reading?
Like just yeah, like say you ended up in a character place. That's kind of the question. Like when you're looking at that and it's like, okay, what is the most ideal situation?
I think the love triangle. Like,
Mhm.
personally, for me, I would want to be in the love triangle where they're both equally as amazing. There's, like, no
Oh,
downside to that, right? Oh,
sorry, you cut off a little bit. Can you say that again?
I said I would want to be in the love triangle where they're both
Mhm.
equally as amazing. Because the downside sucks. The downside would be, like, letting one of them down, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
Versus versus I don't think I'd be strong enough to do, like, a true enemies to lovers.
Mhm.
Like, as much as I
Yeah.
love reading about it,
Mhm.
I don't think I'd
I
be strong enough to
yeah.
hate someone and then learn to love them and then
Mhm.
constantly think about the times where they, like, genuinely hated me. Like, I would
Mhm.
not be strong enough for that.
Yeah. I have to agree. um Reading preference is definitely different. I have to also agree in the sense of I also do really love enemies to lovers, but I also don't think I could handle that either. I really get intrigued on that Uno reverse, how that happens. Um, and so, yeah, it would definitely have to be a love triangle for sure. In that regard. Let's see. This one, next one. Would you rather have an epic slow burn romance that takes years to develop, or fall in love instantly with insta love?
Okay, so this one, my reading preference and my personal preference are the
Mm,
same.
bet.
Slow
Nice.
slow burn forever.
I
I
agree.
dislike reading Insta love.
Mhm.
Um, and I will just to share a little bit about my love life, I guess. I
You
do.
already have. The if the listeners know, first of all,
Oh
if you
yeah.
haven't listened to the Valentine's Day episode with Summer and James from season 2, yeah, go ahead and check it out so you can
That
understand
was
what's happening.
that was a slow burn.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
but I in the past, like I have developed like quick Insta crushes, you know, like
Yeah.
someone hands me a pencil, that cute guy in class, or like
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Mhm.
Um, if a barista is being really nice to me, I'll be like, oh my gosh, she likes me.
Mhm.
But in terms of like love story, I think slow burn is so worth it.
Mhm.
Just coming from my real life experience, payoff, great. Would
Yeah.
have would I have liked it to be sooner? Yes.
Yeah.
Reading wise, I think it pays off as well.
Mhm.
So I think you're the same, but please tell me if I'm wrong.
You're 100% right. I mean, we are a lot of alike, as you know. So like in this case scenario for sure. So slow romance. I think I have a hard time believing insta love in regards to reading it as well. I have a hard time staying in the process of the book when they're automatically like, "Oh, we're here." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But yeah, for me, slow burn for sure. I think that's where you get to really know people well. Whatever that slow burn looks like, it could be just, there's different ways to slow burn romance. Most of the time, it tends to be like friends first kind of thing. But yeah, that's also my preference. I
Or
agree with you.
even better, enemies.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I always think of the hating game.
Oh my gosh, yes,
I
so
love that.
good.
I watched that recently again. Um, Even though, yes, I love the book first, but sometimes when I don't want to reread it, I don't feel like rereading it. I just watch the movie.
You
Yeah.
know, I need to watch it still. First time. Yeah, girl. Uh-huh.
Summer. It's on Prime, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta watch it.
And Lucy Hale is
Yeah.
okay.
I can't
I
believe
will.
you. We were
I
waiting for
know.
it.
I
And
know
it's
we
been out for
were.
years now.
Yep.
Okay.
It's because they recast. No, it's not because they recast.
Yes, it
It's because
was.
I haven't.
No, yes, to be honest.
I definitely would
Yeah.
have watched it sooner if Ravi Amell had stayed
I
in that
know.
role, but I
Mhm.
heard it was still good, so I'm going
It
to.
was.
It just got
Yeah.
put on the back of my list, you know?
That's valid. No, it's still good. It obviously didn't become like this big hit, but no, I still like it. It's still enjoyable. They didn't ruin anything. Okay, next question. Would you rather be fake dating someone who secretly loves you or be childhood best friends who are too oblivious to realize you're in love?
Okay, follow-up question. The
Hmm.
first one,
Yes.
not choosing it, but do I know that they are in love with me and we're fake dating?
No, we do not know.
Okay. And under what okay. Okay, wait. I'm trying to be realistic, right? I'm
Yeah.
trying to be realistic in like in what sense would I need a fake boyfriend? It's usually a
Hmm.
ridiculous premise.
Yes. That is true.
I could see
Um,
myself like catching feelings, so I guess that would work out for me if they secretly love me. That's like
mhm,
assured success
yeah.
versus childhood best friends.
You're
I
too
enjoy
oblivious.
reading about, but I don't now I'm thinking of like my childhood best friends and I'm like,
Well, you don't have to
no.
think of direct people. LOL. Which scenario just seems more likely, more of like once again, like like if you're gonna be put in a place randomly, obviously
Yeah.
not now, but like what seems more ideal? Like for me, um, I think the fake dating one just seem more fun.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know.
gonna say
That's
like
why.
that's rom-com. I will
Yeah.
say something that I wouldn't want for the
Mhm.
childhood friendship is I am very different than I was when I was like, 12. And so I can't imagine myself in that scenario where like I would grow and make as much development
Mhm.
as in my adult life. And so maybe that's just because that's how it worked out for me. I met my current partner like as an adult.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think I would like the fake dating thing because it sounds more fun. And it just seems like a better place to be in too. Like I know I would catch feelings fake dating, you know, and then it would just work out.
No, I 100% agree with that. Like eventually all just works, and yeah, I feel like I probably am leaning more towards my reading preferences on this one. But no, I just like I said, it just seems more fun. It seems not as realistic for sure, but even
Definitely
then,
not.
the childhood best friend one doesn't seem realistic either, because like as you said, you think if you look back, you're like, I don't know about that. um, okay, last one for romance. I feel like I know the answer just based like on real life vibes, but would you rather fall in love with a morally gray villain or a golden retriever himbo?
Okay. What? I can
Mm,
you answer what you think I would choose first?
well,
Or
because
no? You want me
I can. So here's wait. Do you have your answer first though? That depends because I don't want to
Yes,
influence your answer.
yes, I
Okay.
have my answer.
Okay. So because I think of James. James is not villain. He's not villain
No,
vibes.
no, he's
So
not.
he immediately has to go into golden retriever mode.
Yes, he's not
Yeah.
himbo.
No, he's not himbo.
He's
Yeah.
not.
But
He
because I wouldn't put him I wouldn't put him as a villain, so I was like, he has to by definition, he has to go the other way because I feel like
Yes.
he's way nowhere near close.
I really hope that no one I would ever end up with,
Mm,
someone would consider that's
a
a villain.
villain. Yeah. No, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
But
Well,
I will
some
say,
people listen, hey, like Vampire Diaries and stuff?
yeah,
Some people don't care. They're like, "Give me Klaus." I'm like, "Oh, wow." Like,
girl, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so here So you're saying that I would choose golden retriever?
But that's just me basing off of like who you're with now. I don't think you would choose a villain.
Yes. I if you
Maybe in the
were to
past. Possibly.
if if you were asking me like if I was the main character of
Yes.
my own story, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, girl,
You
I'm
do
sorry.
villain.
I would choose
Yeah.
morally gray villain just
Yeah.
because and
No,
this
I
is
get
me
that.
leaning towards my reading
Mhm.
preferences obviously
Yeah.
because James is the love of my life. That man, golden retriever. Yep. And so, um, I just find something very appealing about seeing like the worst parts of someone
Mhm.
and still loving them.
Yeah.
And so that's what like attracts me to morally gray villains in books because if you get to see if they're a good one, right? Like if you can
Yeah.
see their turmoil, their true like they have a moral compass and they follow it because XYZ.
Mhm.
And I find it very healing to know that there's love for them too, even like for the worst, quote unquote, worst of people, morally gray, right? Um, it gives me a sense of like, whoa, slow burn also.
Yeah.
Usually those are slow burns.
Yeah,
And
I
so I
agree.
enjoy them more too.
I agree. Reading preference is morally gray villain as well. Because
Uh-huh.
because usually the morally gray villain is not always a villain at the end of the day, you know? Like
Yeah.
they hit a little Uno reverse. So, I agree. I see the appeal. But if I had to do full title Golden Retriever Himbo, I
No.
don't know. I think I might still have to do more than gray villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
you know what?
yeah.
Going back to your very first question when
Mhm.
you were like, "Oh, would you rather do
Like the
like
love
true
triangle,
enemy, yeah, love triangle or
enemies
true
to lovers.
enemies to lovers?"
Mhm.
And that differentiated cuz I was like, I don't think I could do true enemies to lovers cuz I'd
Mhm.
be too in my head about it. I think that applies here as well. Like if I were to
Yeah.
choose like morally gray villain, I'd be like, "Bro, did you hate me? Like, did
Yeah.
you
Like, ready to
were
fight.
we enemies?" Yeah,
Yeah.
and so then I would have to choose golden retriever, but I wouldn't himbo would
Mm.
be different aspect.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that one's a toughie. Hmm. Yeah. No, that's good to know, though. I say if you threw me in, like, a 4th wing, have you finished reading Onyx Storm?
See, I have not finished reading Onyx
Okay,
Storm.
I'm not
Please,
gonna
no
say
spoilers.
nothing, nothing. But I will
So
say but in the beginning even, like, 4th wing, if we're main character, Xaden was, like, enemy, Xaden was villain in Violet's eyes. So it's like, if we're doing that, then yeah, because at the end of the day, he loves her down. But if we're doing, like, Klaus, the minute you get on his nerves, he's killing you. So
yeah, but
so
isn't
yeah.
that just so sweet to then be his love interest? Because then it's like well, okay, I'm
I mean,
sick in the
okay,
head,
yeah,
girl.
no, 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 I get what you're saying. But, like, you wouldn't think, like, if you even if you were Klaus's love interest, the minute he was like, "Oh, like, you're getting on my nerves, like, we're done," you don't think he would be, like, coming after you? Didn't he do that with, nah, cause he loved Haley down, he liked Caroline down too, they just never got
Girl,
together.
Caroline
Yeah.
down.
Down.
Like,
They should have been endgame, by the way.
yes, Claire.
They should have
Oh
been
my
endgame.
gosh.
Julie, you
Yes.
messed up, Julie,
And she
girl,
knows, I'm
and she knows she
sure.
messed up. She was just a she was a Caroline hater, that's all,
Exactly.
because you didn't have to do that.
So I will say, if you want see, and I'm gonna try not to spoil our listeners here.
Yeah.
Fourth Wing, and I think I said this in our last Bookish podcast as well. I did not consider
Mhm.
Xaden and Violet to be true enemies to lovers. And
We
even
talked
now
about this.
yes,
Yeah,
and even now I stand by it because there's like more information. It's like whatever, right? I stand by
yeah.
that. If you
I know you
want
do, I still disagree, but I know you do.
true enemies to lovers, I would give like they are few. They are few and far between.
Mm,
I know you mentioned like Serpent and Wings of Night.
yeah, that was gonna be my brain. Mhm.
Yeah, that one yeah, I can see
You
that
would
a
agree?
little bit. I would agree. I
Okay.
forget what I said last time. I think I didn't agree last time because it felt insta love for me, low key.
But no, so okay, so that's the thing, this is why I know we branched off a little bit. This
Yeah,
is
and
good.
it's like storytelling, right? Because they had like it was over the course of like weeks and months as they did the
Yeah.
yeah,
I would say so I find that interesting because I would say that Violet and Xaden were more enemies to lovers than Serpent and the Wings of Night, which was Rain and I can't
wild
think of
wild assertion you are making there.
but no, this is why. Because we even get Xaden's Pove. He literally says he thought about killing her. Like he thought about killing her and just yeeting her off.
Yeah,
That was what was said. So that was definitely nowhere near insta love because
yeah.
yeah, now yes, attraction did start, but it did take a minute. You have to consider that. You have especially because yes, Fourth Wing compared to the rest of the books that we have in the series, that one actually moves
Mhm.
fast. A lot of weeks go by. She does a lot of skipping around a little bit here and there. So that's all I'm gonna say.
And
I'm like beside that
yes.
one. Serpent, we don't have any proof in fact that he ever thought about killing her, but we do have proof that he protected her when he didn't need to.
Yeah. I think
So
this is when we get into semantics, right? Because a
mhm.
lot of tropes, like oftentimes, like if you're going to be going for the morally gray villain, it's a slow
Mhm.
burn usually. It's usually
Mhm.
enemies to lovers, all of those things.
Yeah.
I would argue, sorry for this tangent, by the way. I would argue Fourth Wing
Hey, listen.
is not enemies to lovers, nor is it slow burn for me, but it is morally gray villain. Like, I think in the beginning, Zayden was morally gray because we get that point of view from him, like, I could just kill her right now, right? But he doesn't necessarily make them enemies, right? And for some people those things are synonymous, but for me, like, enemies, you need history. I think that's very important. If you start off disliking someone, that's not enemies for me. Enemies is like history. Like, we have a history of being on opposite sides, right? Opposite sides of something. And therefore, they low key have never been on opposite sides of anything, Zayden and Violet, right? And therefore, enemies is very, that's when you get into semantics of like, okay, they just disliked each other. And so, dislike, enemies, synonymous. Yes, enemies to lovers for some people. For me, I like true, like, this man is on the other side of the war
Hmm.
and I fell in love with him. So,
Have you
tangent.
what am I thinking of? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the book because it's not staring at me in the face. Oh, Serpent and Dove. That is a true enemies to lovers, based off of what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
And I get that. But I would then say that maybe that's the difference between we need to start differentiating and saying enemies to lovers and hate to love. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, hate to love because like
Mhm.
what would you categorize the hating game? Are they in?
Well, so it is based off of a hate to love. Technically, I would even originally. it- I'm trying not to spoil it, but actually, just spoiler alert if you haven't read the hating game. Skip a little ahead. Um, because we found out that what he was in love with her this whole time, it takes away the enemies to lovers thing. They are on opposite ends based off of what you were saying.
Oh
They are on
yeah, the
opposing
competing
ends
for
of
mhm.
the publishing company. They're fighting for the same job. Like that is an enemies to lovers, but it removes itself because he always loved her.
Yeah.
It was just
And
a game to him.
yeah, but it is it is from her point of view, right? Like her
Yes,
point of view,
true.
hate, even like the first paragraph of the book, it's that hate and love are so visceral,
Mhm.
visceral, like that gut feeling that you get in your stomach, that pit, that
Yeah.
it's hard to differentiate. And so that's like the whole message, right?
Yeah.
Like that love is just as an intense feeling as like hate, or so you think. And so I do love that one. Okay,
Yeah.
we're getting off topic.
We started here is my dissertation on no, just kidding. Okay, moving on to fantasy and adventure tropes. Would you rather be the chosen one who has to save the world or the rebellious side character who steals the spotlight?
Rebellious side character who steals the spotlight.
Bet. I agree. There's less
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah, chosen one is too like I would never be the chosen one.
It's too not never. Well, it's like, no, just don't put me there. It just sounds stressful. And I don't need to see it. Just put me as a side character. I don't even need to steal the spotlight. Just put me on
Yeah,
the side.
I'll say some funny things. That's
Right.
all I
That'd be
yeah.
helpful. um, let's see. Would you rather have magical powers but be hunted because of them, or be completely ordinary in a world where everyone else has magic? That's a toughie.
See, in theory, I would like being different, so I would want the magical powers, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
wanna be hunted, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess it poses
Mm.
just as much danger if I did not have magical powers,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I think I would be very resourceful. So I think I would want to be in a world where I do not have powers, but everyone else does. Because it also seems more
Mm.
realistic to me. It's like if you took me, Summer, right now, and
Mhm.
you threw me into like Elfheim or something,
Mhm.
right? I think that would be like a wonderful experience versus like discovering that I have powers and the fucking government. Oh, sorry, cursing.
You're good.
The government is after me. So
Gotcha. Um, let me see. So, okay, I would say, I would say magical powers, and I think just because I would want them. Now, to be hunted, that is a choice, but and once again going off basing off of what I'm reading, a lot of the books I think about in regards to like fantasy, even sci-fi, a lot of those main characters do have powers they shouldn't have or like, are on the run. I think of you haven't read it yet, I don't think, because I think you're waiting for it to finish, but Legendborn,
oh my
uh,
gosh, yeah, I
that
am.
series, like, she has powers. She's not supposed to have them, and that's kind of where we go from there. And
Okay.
that's not spoilers. That's just general storyline.
Okay.
Because I'm not dropping the specifics on that, but yeah, okay. Um, would you rather go on an epic quest with a group of adventurers or be stuck in a time loop until you fix a catastrophe? Ooh.
Girl, the first one.
Admitted
The
him, yeah.
the epic Odyssey quest with a, like, D&D? Yeah, sign me
Yeah.
up.
No, yeah, that sounds way more fun. I don't time loop? No, thanks. And I
I
gotta
would
fix
be
the
stressed.
catastrophe? Yeah,
Yeah.
no thanks. That's an easy one. Um, would you rather have a mysterious prophecy about your future or have a secret identity you must keep hidden at all costs? I say
Secret
mysterious prophecy.
about yourself?
Yeah, I wanna
I
know
would
what's
ask
going
for the
on.
specifics on that.
Yeah, I think as long as I know,
'Cause
then we're good.
yeah, because I think for me, like wait, what was the second choice? It
Um,
was
secret identity you must keep hidden at all costs.
I think that the second one gives me more, like, autonomy and, like,
Mhm.
control over my situation. So, personally, for me, I would prefer that. Reading, though, I do love a good yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm also basing off of reading a little bit. The easiest way to go would for sure be secret identity. Because you can easily keep that hidden, you know. I would just, choose the most basic form of life
Yeah.
and just keep moving forward. um and not be seen. So yeah, that would work. Okay. Okay, let's go. We're going into mystery and thriller tropes.
I'm ready.
Would you rather wake up with no memory of the past 24 hours and a crime scene in front of you? Or receive a mysterious letter that hints at a dark family secret.
The second one.
Yeah, no crime scene, please.
Yeah, dark family secret, sign me up, girl. Let me
Yeah,
figure it out.
that could lead to more crime scenes. Who knows?
I
You know what I'm
know. I
saying?
will say, are we on mystery thriller right now? Because
Yeah.
reading wise,
Mm,
I do not go for mystery thriller quite often.
fair.
Yeah, so the first one, 24 hours gone, crime scene. Girl, I am not interested. Sign me up for Family Secret.
Yeah. No, I enjoy mystery and thriller. I'm a bit more specific and critical, so I don't read a lot of them because and I've said this before, I don't know if it was with us talking or if it was a TikTok, but um there's certain I'm trying not to be rude. There's certain mysteries and thrillers that get a bit overhyped on TikTok that are not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not. And I know there's a certain aspect where, as a reader or even a watcher of mystery thriller, you're supposed to be like, "Don't go in there, don't do that," and then they do it anyways, kind of thing. Like certain things are supposed to be obvious, but there's reads I've tried to do where I'm like, "This is really boring," and then even when it gets to a point where it's supposed to be, revved up, they're making like not just regular stupid decisions in storyline form, but like it just really doesn't make sense, and you can tell it's being made because it needs to follow through with the story. Like
Mm.
I need a mystery and a thriller to like grab me in. But yeah. Next one. Would you rather be trapped in a locked room mystery where you're the detective or be framed as a prime suspect in a murder you didn't commit?
Framed being keyword.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
because I'm, like, innocent, right? I guess
Yeah, you're innocent. Mhm.
I would
But
just
someone set
hope
you up.
I would prefer that one and just hope
Mhm.
that wait, okay, so what was the first one? The second one was being framed.
Trapped in a locked room mystery where you're the detective. So kind of like Clue, if like you're
Yeah,
stuck in
but
this
there's no
house.
danger?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, I would wanna choose the one where I'm not in danger. But
Yeah. I mean, if you really look deep, I know you're not into mystery thriller. Technically, you can be in danger in both situations. Because why if
yeah,
somebody set you up? They're probably trying to take you out.
yes. So I think in the first one, like, you would I hate, like, relying on just me and my wits. So if I
Mhm.
was, like, the detective for that, I don't what if I don't solve it? Oh my goodness. But at least for the framed one, I will be trying to solve it, and other people are obviously trying to, like, solve it. And so
Exactly.
hopefully it would give me a better chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like the way you saw that. I immediately went to just locker room mystery because I like detective work, kind of, in a sense of like, okay, who done it kind of vibes. Fun fact, did I ever tell you there was a time where I thought I was gonna be like a psychoanalyst.
Whoa.
And I thought it'd be cool to, like, be in the FBI and do psychoanalysis.
Oh my gosh.
And then I realized I can't handle a crime scene, so
Okay.
yeah, that's where I
Good
was at my
career
mind.
change.
No, seriously, I think that was just me in my Bones era, like, legit.
Oh. Yeah.
My Bones and Criminal Minds era, that's where I was. I was
Oh
trying
my
to
gosh, Criminal Minds, yes.
yeah, no, seriously, it was more so Criminal Minds. My Bones era was like, "Hmm, should I be an anthropologist?" That was my Bones era. Would you rather be a sidekick to a brilliant detective or have to solve a mystery completely on your own?
Sidekick.
I
I
agree.
know
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't wanna be, like, main character in terms of, like, mystery stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, sidekick would be great because I would still be helpful, I think, but it would just be really nice to know that someone else would have my back too.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then yeah, because it's like I think I'm not trying to think of why would someone choose to be completely on their own. Maybe they just want to be able to be the main one to kind of like
Yeah,
go in and solve. Yeah,
yeah,
but
they
no,
work better.
by themselves. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, this one's a good one. Because I don't do spooks, but would you rather be stuck in a small town with dark secrets or a haunted mansion with a past no one will talk about? I'm immediately small town. Like I could do Pretty Little Liars. I can't do haunted mansion.
Yes, just because, like, it can't be that bad. Well, I don't wanna, like, jinx myself and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so bad." But,
Mhm,
yeah, the small town, it also feels, like, less claustrophobic, where
mhm,
I'm just like,
yeah,
"Oh," like, more space to breathe and digest the situation. So, yeah, small town.
yeah, and then you can at least be comfortable in your house. I mean, assuming the dark secrets aren't, like, someone trying to get you. Haunted
Yeah.
mansion, you're not comfortable in your own home. Um, alright, we're gonna move on to sci-fi and dystopia. The question is, would you rather live in a world where technology rules everything or a post-apocalyptic world where survival is the only goal?
The
I'm thinking
technology one.
yeah, I think we're kinda there.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm like, we're already here, so yeah, because I think of post-apocalyptic world where everyone's, like, has to survive. I'm thinking zombies, and I don't wanna be in a place where there's zombies.
Yeah, and even if there's, like, lack of zombies, I would fear that I would have no will to,
Yeah.
motivation like, what are you working
Mhm.
towards? Like, just survival?
Exactly. No, I feel that.
It would be a lot more challenging than the latter, than, like, the technology one.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Would you rather be a rebel leader against an oppressive government or a scientist trying to find a cure for a deadly virus? I go scientist. Put me in the lab.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel like that's where I could be a little bit more safer. I don't
I say
know.
rebel leader.
Okay. Okay.
And
Explain.
here's
Yeah.
why. I think rebel leader, like, first of all, you have a team. Assuming you're a scientist, you also have a team, but
Mhm.
it would motivate me to, like, I'm doing it because of something that I believe in. More strategic, I think I do better in, like, thinking environments, like, "Okay, how are we gonna do this? Blah, blah, blah." And then as for the scientist one, I haven't been very, like, sciency in my life, and so I
Mm,
just can't imagine myself, like, trying to find a cure for something. Also, it would insinuate that in that world, there's, like, a scary, deadly virus that could get me. I
that's
wouldn't
true.
want that. I would just want to be rebel leader.
Okay. That's fair. I give you that. I give you that because that is true. There are 2 different things you're kinda dealing with. You got me thinking now. I think I'm still gonna go scientist, but now I am thinking, like, I think I might have put myself in a possible zombie world because of the deadly virus alone,
Yeah.
that I didn't consider. Um, okay, it says, "Would you rather be trapped in a virtual reality world or discover that your world is actually a simulation?"
Oh
So
my
kinda like
goodness.
Westworld, right? Westworld is like
Oh
that. I
my
never watched it all
goodness.
the way, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you would
Um
love sorry, not me interjecting with a Doctor Who episode.
No, you're good.
Um, There's a Doctor Who episode about that.
Interesting.
And I would prefer being trapped in the virtual reality
Mhm,
because it gives you more like free will, like autonomy, right? Like you
mhm,
know what's happening. That's like something that I really would need like information
mhm.
versus like if I discovered that my world was a simulation, I think I would have
A
like
crisis.
yeah, like a crisis.
I agree with that. I would go with virtual reality world too, because at least you're still in control. You're
Yeah.
trapped, I know, but you're still in control of what you're doing. You don't have to
Yeah.
question, what is what
Your
is it that you're
reality?
actually yeah, exactly. What is it you're
Yeah.
actually in control of? Um, would you rather have to navigate an alien planet alone or be the first person to make contact with an alien species?
Wait, okay, those sounded similar. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, so would you rather have to navigate an alien planet alone? So let's say plot twist, Mars has aliens on it and you're going in by yourself. Or be the first person to make contact with an alien species. So in my head, I'm thinking the aliens are up in here. And for some reason, some way, somehow, you're the first person that they're interacting with on Earth.
Girl gasp. Um, I think the second one, for some
Mm.
reason, I'm the first person that they're interacting with on Earth,
Mhm,
just because I'm thinking like I will not be out of my element, right?
mhm,
I
mhm.
think if I were like going somewhere, especially if we had not contacted them before, like boom, Martians, I'm going
Yeah.
to Mars. Oh my gosh, what if they think I'm hostile? What if, all of these things that they are well within their right? Like I know a lot of people, if they saw like a mysterious spaceship crashing, we are
Mm.
not talking to that person,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm,
And so I would want to make first contact. Also, hopefully, if they're here, they do not have as bad intentions if they are surrounded by 7 billion humans.
mhm. Yeah, I see that 100%. There's a fun that seems to be able to be like, "Ooh, I'm on a planet by myself." I'm like, "Let me explore. Ooh, it's so quiet."
But you're not by yourself,
I
right? That's
know.
the question.
Yeah, I guess because 'cause I'm, like, thinking, like, you're probably chilling and then you find the aliens, and then you're like, "Oh, snap." You know? Um, I get but then I'm also thinking about the intense stress that comes with, like, "Oh, snap, there's aliens, and they know I know that they exist," and hmm, I think I would go the second one too, but that would be a hard one because 'Cause I'm
It
thinking of
would be
have you ever watched Roswell?
no, I
Oh,
haven't seen,
summer. It's so
Westworld
good.
either.
I never fully got into Westworld because I didn't have, like, HBO and stuff at that time, but I think I've watched, like, an episode or 2. Because I could watch like, I think that there was a point where you could watch, like, the first few for a minute for free. Um, so I can't vouch for Westworld 100%, but I know people really liked it. But I think also it didn't have a good ending. Someone and listeners correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh,
But yeah, that's what I heard. I think they might have Game of Thrones it, or technically not as bad as Game of Thrones did, but yeah. Or they got canceled or something like that. I can't remember. Um Roswell also got canceled, but it wasn't because it was bad. I don't know why. And I'm talking about the original Roswell.
is
They
that
did a
also aliens?
well, no, Westworld isn't aliens, to my knowledge. Westworld is simulation.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's Roswell?
Roswell is aliens.
Okay.
So, but it's like cutesy aliens. So, um, it's this teenage girl. I'm gonna say this real quick. Teenage girl. Um, these other people are in town, and she falls in love with this boy. Plot twist is he's alien. And his friends are aliens as well. They kind of have to navigate that because there's also people trying to come after them. Yada 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 yada. They go through a lot of different things in like the only 2 seasons that happen. It did get canceled for whatever reason, and then they did a reboot of it. Um, 2010s of sort, later 2010s of sort, and I did start watching that, I just didn't finish it, but it was good as well. I liked it, it was fun. There was a little
Okay.
romance, a little alien, fighting the world, some vibes. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I liked it a lot, but I would say if you're gonna watch it, watch the original one first. Um, but yeah, it was definitely her, the main character, having to come to terms with that, and then, like, being a teen, she had to hide it from her mom, and there were people trying to come after her, and it was a whole lot of it was a lot.
I see, I see.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. These are some general questions. As far as bookish tropes, no specific genre. Would you rather live in a book that's constantly action packed or one that's slow, cozy, and character driven? Mm.
Slow, cozy, and character driven.
Yeah, I go with that too. I love an action pack, but I think when I'm thinking of like comfy vibes, that's always the one I'm going for, like a little soft romance kind of fun vibe. Yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
go for. Um, would you rather always be the comic relief character or always be the tragic hero? Mm. I say
Comic
comic
relief.
relief. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I'll throw a few jokes. I don't need tragedy, thank you. Um, would you rather have a magical animal companion or a sentient sword that talks back?
Animal companion.
I agree with that as well. I can understand why people would choose a sword, but that's not me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Would you rather be a side character in your favorite book or a main character in a book you hate?
Wait, say that again.
Side character in your favorite book or a main character in a book you hate?
Side character.
Yeah, same.
What's a downside for that?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the idea of like, do you want to be the main character or not?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah,
No.
and I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need that. I just want to be in existence.
Exactly. I will always be the main character of my own story,
Yeah.
right? But
Mhm.
to place me in a book that I love and I'm a side character, sign me up.
Mhm.
I
No,
guess that would
seriously.
be bad if, like, you were really into, like, horror and then you really
Mhm.
disliked romance,
That's true.
in which case you would want the reverse, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, some general questions real quick. I know we talked about love triangles. This was a curiosity question though. If you had to do when it comes we're gonna start transitioning into reading. So we're out of book tropes. Um, if you're reading something, are you going for forbidden love or a love triangle?
If I'm reading something,
Mhm.
that's a toughie. You answer
It
first
is.
while I think about this.
I got you. Um, I love a forbidden love because then it implies slow burn, and I love slow burn. So, um, I don't really care much for a love triangle. I don't need it, if that makes sense, in order for me
Mhm.
to like really love the romance and love the book. And I've come to that conclusion because a lot of the books I've read recently in the past few years usually don't have love triangles in them anymore. I feel like that was very much a thing when we were growing up. Like everybody, there was a love triangle somewhere. Even if you
Yeah.
popped up book 2 or 3 or something like that. But now it's not really that. It's usually the other tropes, enemies to
Yeah.
lovers, forbidden romance, those kind of things like that. A lot of them I tend to be along those lines. I'm trying to think of when was the last like forbidden romance. I
I'm
guess
down. Yeah.
technically it would still be Serpent and Dove, because they were not while they're also enemies to lovers. When they
Mhm.
do decide to be together, they should not be together.
Okay.
In their laws of work, like everybody was like, you should not be together.
Yeah.
Um, like book 2 and, I didn't get to book 3 yet because book 2 was a little was a little, but I'm gonna get there, because apparently book 3 was better. But yeah, once they decided to be with each other and love each other, people were like, "Y'all not supposed to be together. Like, this is not gonna work."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I would definitely choose, yeah, not the love triangle.
Yeah.
Um, just because you're right. Reading wise as well, I don't think I enjoy them as much because in order for it to be a really good love triangle, the
Mhm.
journey for each of the love interests has to be very strong.
Mm.
And typically, if you throw in like if we're talking journey, I think forbidden love, like the journey to getting there for loving them, it's a lot stronger and I really enjoy those things.
Nice. Yeah, I like that you talked about the journey. Yeah. Usually they are very different. And it always that's another thing too about love triangles is usually you can always tell who's really gonna be the main one. Like Edward and Jacob. Like we knew it was gonna be Edward at the end of the day. Like let's be for real.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just think it was there to be fun, but especially as we get older too. Now it's just like, come on now, we already know. Like
Yeah.
leave it be. All right. So continuing on, I'm gonna try to rapid fire these a little bit more. These are
Okay.
just general book lover questions. Would you rather read from a hardback, paperback, or ebook?
I'm a hardcover girly in terms of buying books. Recently, e-readers have been very helpful,
Mhm.
like my Kindle or even my phone, right? I really enjoy those. But if I had to choose, definitely hardback.
Yeah, I agree as well. Fun fact, I'm calling Sabrina out. Did you know Sabrina's a paperback girly?
Yes, I knew
Ah,
that.
so funny.
And it doesn't even make sense. Sorry, I know you said rapid fire, but let me just
Yeah.
Sabrina, if you're listening to this, it doesn't even
Mhm.
make sense because most releases, they don't even release the paperback version for over a year
That's why
into
she has a problem.
right?
Yeah.
Ah,
She's struggling because she can't have the book she wants. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, I got her the 4th Wing that finally came out years down the line.
Yeah,
That's so funny. Would you rather crack the spine of a paperback or ruin a hardback's dust jacket?
both are like
Horrendous.
treacherous for me. Yeah,
Yeah, but which one,
I
so
would never do that.
I know, but you gotta choose.
I would
Mhm.
never do that. Like,
You gotta choose one.
um, oh my
I'm gonna say
gosh.
the spine because at least I can cover it with the hardback dust jacket.
But that's for, like, the paperback, right? You said, "Would you rather crack the
Uh,
pine of it?" That one
Yeah,
looks so much worse
I'm
because it
trying to
becomes like a white line.
it does. I was trying to, like, have the loophole there. So fun fact, I have messed up hard. So you wanna hear something that I'm mad at myself for?
Yes.
I'm thinking about it now, I'm getting frustrated. I have Bree Tanner's book, for Twilight.
Yeah.
My dumb self threw away the hardback dust jacket.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah, I did. I think it was 'cause it accidentally got messed up. I threw it away. So I just
Wait,
have it
which
regular hardback.
cover? What cover?
What is there multiple covers? Let me see real quick. Bree Tanner,
Like,
isn't it just the regular one with the red,
wait.
the black and the red? Bree Tanner. I've as you hear us typing, yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one with the
yeah.
the one with the sand. Yeah, girl, I don't got it no more.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't got it no more. Yeah, yeah, that was stupid of me. Yeah, mhm. But I am a owner. Not many people talk about that book, but I own everything. Everything for Twilight except for the latest things like Midnight Sun and, no, I have Midnight Sun
Yeah.
actually. I don't have the green apple one. That one,
Life
I
and
don't think
Death?
I'll yeah, I don't think I'll ever own it, to be honest.
Really?
So
Like it's like the cool, like, flippy one. Like, you turn it and the other side is, like, Edward's.
yeah,
Oh,
but I'm
wait,
just
no,
like,
it's
eh.
not even Edward's. It's like a gender bent.
It is, yeah.
Which
But I was like, I still haven't read Midnight Sun, but I have it. But I think reading Edward's Cove would be interesting. But I don't need Twilight reverse because it's still Twilight, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god, I can't
Um,
believe you threw away that dust
I
jacket.
know, I know, I know. Would you would you rather prefer info dump on a world slash magic system to a drip feed technique? This was a question that I pulled some of these questions and I was looking at it. I was like, I don't understand what that means. I'm curious. Do you know what that means?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. So, the first one, so let's say, like, info dump, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is much more like they are telling you all of this information. Like, um, "Oh, well,
Can you give
this
me?
is how this works." Yeah, I can give you an example.
Yeah.
So, usually
I'm trying to think of
mm
who info dumps because I feel like when it comes to world building, they all kind of no. I don't know. I can't think.
It's both. So, like, an info dump would be like if the main character already was in that world, and when
Mm-hmm.
you're in their head, they're like blabbing to you. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"This is how this works."
Mm-hmm.
Some authors do it really well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if the character is already pre-established in the world, they do a really good job at like not
Mm-hmm.
info dumping. That's a
Yeah.
problem that a lot of authors have. Whereas like a drip feed would kind of be like you're tossed into a world and you're like figuring things out either alongside the character or as the information is given to them.
Hmm.
Which is
So.
what I would prefer because
Mhm.
I like the ebbs and flows of like learning information. And usually info dumps like make me sleepy.
That's valid. So I'm curious, technically, is Fourth Wing an info dump?
Yeah, a little
Okay,
bit.
because it doesn't feel like it. So I guess in that case scenario, she did well.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think,
but
if
she
you
also
were
kind
to
of,
read, like, a Sarah J. Maas book, like, her Crescent
yeah.
City series, very info dump.
That's
Very,
what stressed me
very,
out, and I haven't finished reading it.
very info dump, and it's because a lot of elements, like, they expect you to know from previous series, like her writing style,
Mm,
even though
okay,
they are just to be clear, they are not set in the same world, right?
universe, yeah.
Yeah, so it is definitely info dump. Also, it's like urban fantasy. They have like iPhones and
Mm,
stuff. They're like
yeah,
they're like fae, but they have like iPhones and like skyscrapers and they go clubbing and stuff. And so it's very jarring that info dump like their way of life.
got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it would be usually fantasies are like info dump.
that makes sense. Yeah, I guess
Mhm.
because I was looking, I was like, in my head, I'm like, well, technically, aren't they all kind of like a drip feed? But yeah, no, some do kind of like dump
No, think like
because
The
technically,
Hobbit.
Akatar is like a drip feed, technically, right?
Yes,
Because
very, very
default is it has to drip feed, and I
yes.
think Legendborn it has to be a drip feed as well.
Mhm.
Um, okay, that
And
makes sense.
for ACOTAR, it is a mixture, I will say, because
Mm,
Feyre does info dump you. She info dumps you on, like, the wall, the
oh,
human lands. She info
yeah,
dumps you, like, all like, the Fey court, the
mm,
night court, the day court, like, she knows all of that information,
yeah,
and she does dump it on us. The reason why it's a little bit more enjoyable is because it's a short book,
mhm,
and it's an easy concept to understand even if they are info dumping.
yeah, it's true.
The
Yeah,
problem is, like, when it's, like, a complex magic system or something like that,
mhm,
and they are info dumping. That is, like, when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on."
yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know. Next question. I'm gonna move us along. Would you rather have dinner with your favorite character or author?
Character.
Yeah.
That would be so much
Mhm.
cooler.
I agree. I don't even know if I have what like a favorite author. Like I have some authors that I really enjoy and I read a lot of their work,
Yeah.
but I was trying to think like, would that be my favorite author? And I don't think I have one just yet, if that
Yes,
makes sense.
and even for me, like, my favorite characters have fluctuated throughout
Mhm.
the years, and so
Yeah.
now, girl, if I was to sit down with my favorite character now, that would be a
Mhm.
popping conversation.
Who is your favorite
Vers
character out of curiosity?
Right now, it's Aelin Galathynius.
Who is that? I'm sorry.
She's a character that you meet later on, like, in the Throne of Glass series.
Wait. Oh, you said
Mhm.
Aelin.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
knew that. I was
Yep.
last name. I was like Gallatin. Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And, previously, if you had asked me, like, when I was a teenager, I would have
Mhm.
said Rose Hathaway from yeah,
Period. Vampire.
period! Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Vampire Academy.
could you imagine meeting Rose? That would be
That'd be
so fun.
fire. My girl, what were you thinking when you did?
Yeah. "Girl, you're with Dimitri? I love him, but girl"
Right. Like,
yeah.
all the tea. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Would you rather read duologies, trilogies, or standalone books?
I like the more time I can have with a character, the better. My only
Mm,
problem is it's very hard for me to pick up series. I
yeah.
like starting, like, with the series. So, like, even
Mm,
and and if I've, like, missed a train and they're, like they're go in the middle of it, it's hard for
yeah.
me to, like, pick it up. Like, right now with,
Got it.
like, Legendborn,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If you had, like, recommended Legendborn when it came out, I would have been
Mhm.
more inclined to read it. Now with, like, 2 or 3 books out and it's not even done yet, it's harder
Yeah. Or you could
versus,
catch
like
up. I mean, 3rd
yeah,
book's not out yet.
you're
But no, I
right, you're
get you, I
right.
get you. I understand.
Versus, like, "Oh, it's a trilogy and it's complete." I would even be more
Mhm.
inclined to read that as well.
Yeah.
But if you're like, "Oh, 16 books, they're done," I would not read it. Which is
Yeah.
why it's hard for people to get into, like, long universes, like the Shadowhunter
Mhm.
series by
Yeah.
Cassandra Clare. Rick Riordan, people are having trouble coming into his, like, mythology stuff because Percy Jackson was enjoyable, 5 books, but
Mhm.
now
Too
20
much.
something books. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would say I'm a little bit on the opposite end. Um, I was more, to be fair. I've been a little bit more, let's jump in and just start a series lately. But I'm starting to forget that a little bit more. But for me, it's usually if we're a few books in and I know what the end goal is, okay, bet I'll start in the middle. Like I'll start reading them and I'll catch up. I have a lot of fantasy books actually right now. I was in a period where I was just like, "Ooh, this book is cute. I like the synopsis. Let me buy it." And then I didn't think like, "Hey, Kayvana, it's a series."
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like they're just sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to start another series right now because I'm in the middle of the Empyrean series. I'm in the middle of the Legendborn series.
Mhm.
Technically, once again, I haven't finished Serpent and Dove. And there's like other ones I've started that I'm in the in between on. The list goes on. So I agree with that in the sense where I used to be like, I prefer it to be done.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm gonna go back to again, because now I was just, like, jumping in because I was so excited to read these storylines, and now even for Fourth Wing, for Onyx Storm, I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
I had
But
to go
now
back.
at least we're both on the same page of like not standalone, just because standalone books, I find that they're rarely memorable. Even if they're like really
Mm.
good,
Mhm.
they're rarely memorable for me just because you're not spending as much time and there's only so
Mhm.
much character development someone can do in 100,000 words, right? Unless it's
Yeah.
it's like very,
Yeah.
very well done.
Mhm.
Um, gets lost in the sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say it's rarely done, but
Period.
I do love a good standalone fantasy, but it gotta be done right, like you said.
Yeah.
I just read and it's on the shelf behind my computer right now, and I can't think of it. Everything's got a throne of something in it. Um, it's throne of something, and I'll get back to you on that. Carrie Modoska, something like that. Can't think of it, but it actually is can be read as a standalone fantasy. It is technically a part of a whole series, but once again, it can be read as a standalone. Because
Okay.
I was like, I just wanted fantasy. I didn't want to read a romance, but I didn't want to be jumped into a series. And so I read it, and I was like, "Wait, you ate that?" Because I could read it and not feel so lost in the sauce because the world was not as complex where I had to be dumped and things like that, if that made sense. It was a romantasy, but technically, if I
Hmm.
wanted to, I could hop in and read the
Yeah.
rest of them, but I didn't have to, so
I
that was
find that
nice.
Stan, just because you and me, we are very fantasy oriented right now.
Mhm.
In our reads, it's really hard to find standalones for that one because
Yeah.
I know the really good ones, they have like complex worlds and you would just need more.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. But if we're talking about romance, that's always standalone, so
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I do just need that. So those are usually the ones that help get me out of a book slump.
Yeah.
Um, would so in a world where adaptations happen, would you rather have your favorite book adapted into a film or into a television series?
Television series.
Is it because you get more from it?
Yeah.
Makes
I
sense.
um it really would depend on like obviously their budget, right? But
Mhm.
I just think even if it's like low budget, if you can tell the story accurately in a television show versus a movie, I will always go television show
Yeah.
cuz I want that like journey that you can't get in a movie. Movie 2 hours, 3 hours max. People would not watch a
Yeah.
3-hour
Too
movie.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much can you do in that time? Right? Tell the full breadth of the
Yeah.
story, I think is very hard unless it's a very short book, like The Martian or something. Like The Martian. Have you ever read The Martian?
Mm-mm.
Great
Uh,
book. I'm glad it was just a movie because the story was so tight that it was able to be told in movie format.
gotcha.
I think it was stretch out as a television show, but most of my series, I would want them stretched out.
No, that makes sense. The immediate thought I always go to is Vampire Academy.
Yeah.
Um, Vampire Academy, the story that never made it through either way. Um,
Yes.
but it was more successful to me um as a TV
Television.
show. I just think
Yeah.
it was hard because at that time Peacock was still warming up as a streaming service. Um, so it was kind of hard for the possibility of success.
Mm,
Um, of course, they did a lot of changes too. I think we're going in too deep. But yeah, Julie messed up on a few different things, as you know, Julie does. So, but it had more potential as a TV series. Would you rather have to read your would you rather have to reread your least favorite book every month or never read your favorite book again?
Uh, reread my least favorite book every month?
Yeah, I
Easy.
agree. Yeah. Um, yeah, cuz yeah, when I want to read something, I want to read. Yeah, don't tell me
Yeah,
I can't read, but
and it's
unfortunately, yeah.
if it means I have required reading once a month to be able to have that freedom,
Mhm.
yeah, sign me up. Easy.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, would you um would you rather be allowed to read fan fiction but never write it or be allowed to write fan fiction but never read it? I thought about you when I grabbed this question because I'm not a
Oh
fan
my
fiction
gosh,
person 100%.
that sounds like hell either way. Can you
Mhm.
repeat that? Can you repeat
Yeah.
that?
Would you rather be allowed to read fan fiction but never write it or be allowed to write fan fiction but never read it?
I think as much as I would want to write fan fiction, I would have to choose only reader
Mm,
because I think I would get so much at the end of the day, fan fiction is about community, right?
yeah,
It's about supporting each other because people who write fan fiction, like, they're doing this for literally nothing, just for fun, out of their own time, their effort,
that's true.
everything.
Mhm.
And to write, but to have that community taken away from me, I can't imagine I would be a fan fiction writer for long if you took that aspect away.
Yeah.
I would then just be a fan fiction reader.
Yeah. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, 100%. I probably would just I don't write, so that would be my immediate answer too. Um, would you rather I have my last few questions. Would you rather not be able to buy any new books until you finished all the ones you're on your shelf
Oh my gosh.
or never be allowed to read any of the books you currently own?
See, that slept, but I own my favorite series.
So that you got I think go immediately go with the first
Yeah.
option.
So literally, I would just power read all of those, and then I can buy more and read more. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would have to buy whatever you buy next, you have to read it before you buy another one. That would
Yeah,
be the
I
policy.
can yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
That just sounds like that just sounds like very strict budgeting, actually.
Yeah, it's like,
But,
"Hmm, maybe that's what I need."
yeah. But I would choose that. I would choose
Yeah,
that.
I agree with that one. Um, and then last 2, would you rather live in a library or a bookstore?
That one's hard. Live?
Yeah, like, say, it's like, "Okay, I'm going downstairs." Bookstore or is it a library? I vote bookstore. I wanna live connected with the Barnes& and Noble.
Me too. Bookstore.
Yeah.
Also, I really as I love libraries. They're
Mhm.
really good for, like, readers, the public, giving access to people who, like, cannot
Yeah.
afford to, like, buy books and things like that.
Mhm.
I would want to live above, like, a bookstore,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I would wanna, like, buy my books.
Yeah. I agree. It's something just they're different vibes. Not saying I don't love libraries as well because I do. That's what the whole started this whole thing in the first place. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely a bookstore girly now because I also know like I can find whatever I'm looking for as well.
And hopefully, yeah, like, let's say the newest thing, very rarely that libraries would, like, have new
Exactly.
releases,
Hmm.
and so I'm trying to account for that as well. I would want
Yeah.
to live above, like, I say Barnes& and Noble because 'cause they're, like, the biggest book distributor, but yeah,
Hmm.
that would be great.
Yeah. I talked about this with Serena Nicole. One, they have books, but also they have like Legos and got a cafe. Like they got the whole shebang. So if
They
there's
have the
another
vibe.
bookstore that has everything, then I'm good too.
The
And
vibe.
then last question, would you rather read by a fireplace or on a beach?
I'm an I'm an introvert, so I would
Mhm.
say fireplace. I've
Yeah.
read at the beach before, sand gets everywhere, I get
Mhm.
hot, gotta
Mhm.
try not to get sunburned. Sand everywhere, I keep thinking of that.
Yeah,
So definitely if I could be, like, inside fireplace, it's, like, gloomy outside,
cozy.
overcast, I'm cozy, I have
Mhm.
tea or something. Oh my gosh, yeah, sign me up.
That's a
Easy.
dream. No, yeah. I was wondering what your answer would be because, I too I think this whole beach read idea gets a bit overhyped because I've tried to do it and I'm like, "This is so unfun." Sand the way it's windy, the wind is
Yeah.
blowing, the sand. Um, Nothing staying where it's supposed to be. It just was very unfun.
And I think it's different because when I decide to go to the beach,
Mhm,
I'm feeling more extroverted.
mhm.
Therefore, I also want to do other extroverted activities like play in the water or like
Yeah.
I don't know, like tan, talk to my friends, like who am I going with?
Mhm.
I would almost never go to the beach alone.
Yeah.
Whereas like, okay, if you're inside, I'm most likely alone and I have like alone time, I want to
Mhm.
read.
Yeah. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I have been to the beach alone, and I tried to read, but it just
Yeah.
I
There
was
you
just kinda
go.
over it at a certain point.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't want my books out here like this anymore."
Mhm.
No, that's so funny. Well, that concludes it, Summer. We got through a good chunk of questions, so
We did it.
yeah, we did
Yay.
it, yes. This was fun. I like getting to know, like, the trope aspects and then also just, like, book preferences in general as readers. Listeners out there, let me know what were your takes, on the different genres of tropes we talked about, and then also just in general of, like, your book preferences. Thank you again, Summer, for joining.
Of course, anytime. I hope to be
Yeah.
back in the
Of course.
future.
Of course, yes, you are a recurring guest at this point. If you haven't listened to Summer's other episodes, go check them out in season 2. Just make sure you follow me at the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok and YouTube, and at Kivana on Instagram. You can check out Summer's information in the description. All of her socials are on there too. Make sure you stay updated, follow this podcast to know when new episodes are going to drop. And at the end of the day, make sure you get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing week. And I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Bye.
Bye.